Okay, so I wanted to make a quick video on some other aspects of the Akai Force looper that I find really useful and fun to play with and helps you generate songs, ideas, etc. So I've got a default open project here, gives me the plugin track and the audio track. Now, one of the things about the looper is you typically think about it in terms of taking outside audio sources, microphone, guitar, synth, etc., drum machine, putting it into the inputs and recording it into the looper. But what I want to do is show you how you can use the plugins, the built-in synthesizers, and play those into the looper, and then put them back into your project. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that that I'm going to be hearing the metronome at all times. So when I look at the metronome, I hit Shift and touch the metronome button, hold it down. So I have it set up to record and play. That's what I want. I want to hear a count in even when I'm just playing, and I want it to be enabled while playing as well. So that's going to be important to really get the most out of the looper. For me, you don't necessarily have to have that, but if you wanted to kind of follow the beat, then that's important. Okay, so let's hit the menu and then go to the looper over here. And the looper typically defaults to inputs 1 and 2, which are these inputs on the back. And we're going to have to change that. That's the key piece to change so that you can play the plugin. So I'm gonna switch over to the plugin. I'm gonna hit Note. I'm on the plugin track. I'm gonna hit Note. Okay, so I have this swell. I want to actually change that to something a little bit more audible. So I'm gonna hit Shift Clip and change the sound. Let's take the piano, which is kind of nice. The warm piano stack. Okay, go back to the looper. Now, when I hit these notes, you see nothing here. There's no input happening. So what I do is I click on that and I scroll over to resample left and right, which is the internal sound. This will also include any tracks that you might be, any clips that you might be playing. So that's something to keep in mind. It's useful to use it and to kind of keep overdubbing and mixing and matching, but just something to keep in mind, and I'll demonstrate it later. I'm going to set this output gain up a little bit higher. Whoops, got to go down. Somewhere closer to 0. Okay. Okay, so the next thing I want to make sure about, two things: sync and overdub. Sync will make sure that the looper starts on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, bang, comes right in. You can turn that off if you just want freestyle looping. And then recording to, I'm going to keep it on overdub so that when the looper goes to the end, the 2 bars, it'll come back and keep recording. And I want to be able to add things. And I can turn that off by hitting the overdub button and turning it back on by hitting the overdub button. So let's just start out with something real simple. Something with, basic octaves, just to keep it real easy. So I'm going to hit the play button so I can get the metronome going. Okay. Now when I hit the overdub, it's going to come in on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now it's listening to anything I play. And it'll keep overdubbing because the overdub button is on. 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to play some octaves. 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to try to make that a little cleaner. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. Okay, fine. I'm going to turn it off for a moment, the overdubbing. So now it's just playing. And then maybe I want to put something else on top. Okay, so let's overdub that. There we go. Pardon me, I've got some construction outside which I can't control. Okay, so I've got this loop building up. Let's say now that I want to put something else, not just a piano on there. So what I would do is I would hit my shift clip to get back to my piano stack. The looper stops playing. Let's say I pick something else, some kind of pad sound, and I go back to my looper. My stuff is still there. I'll hit the play on the one because it syncs. Now I'll try this new instrument. So let's say I want to add that. Okay, stop overdubbing, just play. So in this way, you can build up tracks, or build up a loop with layers. Let's put one more thing on there. Let's do something with a pluck sound. Here's a pluck. Go back to the looper. I'll hit my play and I'll just mess around with it. I'll put that in. It's a little messy. But that's okay, I'm just demonstrating. Okay, let's turn off this metronome. Hit the shift and the metronome. And we'll just say I want it to play on record only, just for now. Okay. Again, it's synced. So there's my clip. Now what I want to do, let's just say I want to put this into my project now. So I can hit export to my audio track. Export. There's my audio track. We can go in clip 1. I don't have anything there, so I'll say put it there. Turn this off, go into my matrix, and there it is. Let's hear it. I have nothing in the plugin. Now, another thing you can do is, obviously, I'm using that clip as is. So instead of using the clip as is, I could take that clip and open it up in the sample editor, sample edit. Here it is. Let me get my pads there and hit the top one to play through. So there it is. What I can do, obviously, from here is I can chop it up and put it on a drum track and play around with it. So let's give ourselves a drum track, get ready for that. And then we'll go to the sample editor, and let's say we're going to chop this up. I'm just going to do it real quickly with, not a whole lot of thought into it, so I'm just going to hit it. Okay, so I got... So I can do... whatever, and I can record that in. Those playing if I want to find something, that I like in there. So from here, I can go to Shift, Convert, put that onto a new drum track. Right, so it'll actually make a new drum track. I didn't need to put that drum track down. Go to my matrix, and there it is. So I actually didn't need this guy here, so let me just get rid of it for this purpose. So here it is, and I can play it. Now this may not be the best piece of audio to play around with on the pads, but in chopped up way. But we could imagine doing something with it. I'll turn on record, touch it. It's a bit loud. So this is without the sound. Bring it in. All right, it's a little messy, but you get the idea. Maybe you don't necessarily want to have this clip going. Turn off record on that. That's just playing. The pads. But this is just an example to show you that can be done. It doesn't really sound all that great with a paddy type of sound. So that's just a quick video to show you that you can use the looper with resample on to play plugins and different plugin presets or your own presets, build up a loop, put it into either an audio track or chop it up into slices and play it on a drum track. And the nice thing about the drum track, obviously, is you don't have any limits on that. Well, you have 8 limits on this. And of course you have 8 track limit on this and 8 track limit on this, but this you don't really have much of a limitation at all. So there's some advantage. Even if you don't want to chop it up, you could just put it on pad, pad 1, and just play it on a drum track instead of using up precious audio tracks to play those clips. But that's a secondary issue. So that was it. I just wanted to look at the looper and using it with plugins instead of, or at least in addition to, using the inputs on the back. Okay, thanks.